Don't miss this week's new stocking stuffer type releases from Games Workshop. Stocking bits. Welcome back, hobby maniacs. Rob Baer with you again today, taking a little look at these little knick-knack kind of stocking stuffer type items for the upcoming holiday. A bunch of stuff here. Now, first of all, I want to say, hey, this is not all the release. There's Tyranid stuff. That's a separate video. We're also going to have a separate video on the GW water pot and the GW paint handle as well, which also came out this week. You're probably like, what the heck can you talk about in that? Well, I have a lot planned for that one. Show you exactly what the paint handle can hold, how to use the water pot. Believe it or not, there's a right way and a wrong way, and give you some ideas on some type of brush cleaners out there as well. So that's actually going to be a pretty good. I'm looking forward to recording that one. But this is straight retail kind of review type deal from all the new products that are coming out from Games Workshop. So besides the Start Collecting Tyranids box, which is $85, the Tyranid Codex and the Tyranid data cards, $40 and $15 respectively, which will be a different video. We have all of these great items right here. The two battle journals that came out for Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40k. Both of these right here are clocking in at $25 each. Then the Dark Millennium playing cards, and as you would expect, it is a 52 card deck of playing cards. All of the artwork in there was designed by John Blanche specifically for this release right here. Brand new coloring on the ubiquitous previously orange tape measure from Games Workshop. Now it's the OD green, camouflage type, or Death Guard green, I suppose you could say. STC Rise and Pattern Ruins. We saw these come out with the release of the Moonbase, and now they are a separate release in and of themselves. These are $30. The tape measure is going to clock in at $8, which I don't think is too bad for a tape measure there. Playing cards are actually, how much are the playing cards? I don't remember. I think they were $12.50. And then last but certainly not least is the painting mat right here. It's a thick kind of rubbery type deal that will protect the table in style from your paints and hobby supplies, but don't cut through this. This actually is not designed to be cut through. Dun dun dun. It's not a cutting mat, you sillies. I actually poked it with a blade just to see how tough it was. Turns out this is not very tough at all. Do not cut things on this, or poke holes in it with your pin vise or your clippers, or perhaps your X-Acto blade right there. So let's come on back and take a look at each of these individually. And since we're right here, why not start with the Citadel paint mat? Now this is kind of a new take, I guess, on the previous hobby products we've seen. We know there's a paint palette, we know there is a paint tray, now we have a paint mat. It doesn't seem too bad. I mean, it is $25, it rolls up, it's plastic, so you can stuff it in, maybe your hobby to go paint box or something like that. It seems like it will wash off pretty easily with a little scrubby pad or a sponge or something like that. Keep you looking fresh and icy on your hobby bench right there, but also protect whatever, dining room surface or TV tray or something that you're working on, so moms doesn't get mad at you, because there is no bigger offense around the household than messing up something that mom loves, like her dining room table, her coffee table, and or her TV trays. Believe me, I may have screwed one or two or all of those up in my hobby endeavors in the past. So do mom a favor, say, hey, give me this paint tray, this paint mat, so I can not get paint everywhere, or your significant other, of course, depending on your age. And what's the holiday season without a little holiday fun, maybe a friendly poker game, so to speak? I've played many a hand of cards after a Thanksgiving dinner. Now this is pretty much your standard size, I guess, cards. They're 52 card deck here. They're not very sturdy, to be quite honest. I mean, they're about as sturdy as a normal playing card deck. They're not plastic coated. It doesn't even look like they're UV coated at all. I would be very careful with these so you don't accidentally mark them, depending on how serious you are about your cards. 7-2 offsuit, I'm all in. Let's do this. Now, each one has a different suit. I think Chaos has a suit, Imperium has a suit. What's the thing say here? Created by John Blanche, especially for these cards. Each illustration perfectly captures the gothic darkness of the Warhammer 40k and providing a playing card experience unlike no other. So you've got Chaos, Mechanicus, Xenos, and of course Imperium suits right here. So there's your Mechanicus, and you can see the artwork is great. Definitely reminds me of a lot of that crazy Blanchitsu stuff that you see in the White Dwarfs as of late. There's your Chaos, crazy Chaos suit. You got Imperium suit. Of course, those guys look just as crazy as the Chaos guys. And your Jokers. Why not have some crazy looking Zinch guys right there? And who are these guys? Oh, the Xenos. These are the Xenos. Pretty cool little set. I think it's $12.50 this holiday season. Available, of course, at your friendly local game store or Games Workshop. Next up is the brand new Citadel tape measure, $8. It is the same, essentially. It feels a little bit rougher or a little bit tougher than the old orange ones that you might remember. I couldn't actually find my orange one. I might have eventually, or I guess finally, misplaced it from all those years. However, it looks very similar. It does have both metric and English standard system in here. So of course you can play a lot of the games out there, old and new, that might be coming out with metric measurements as well as the traditional English measurements that we're all used to here. Now, if I remember correctly, the old tape measure, if you snapped it back a lot, eventually these would break right here at this area, so be careful with that. That seemed to be the point where people would always, or when you went to pull it out, you put a little torque on it and poof, snapped it right off after years of use. But overall, these seem to be pretty tough design, and you will get at least a decent amount of use out of it, depending on how rough you are. I mean, if you sit there and pull it out, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and fidget with it, well, that's not a good idea for any retail product out there, I suppose. The Citadel battle journals, both 40K and Age of Sigmar, are essentially the same. They're pretty much sized the same, and since we have our new tape measure right here, they're 6 by 8, almost 8.5 inches tall, or inches wide. They feature 200 sheets in here and a little bookmark as well, so you can kind of keep your spot. Now, I think it's coming through on the camera. It's hard to see. It looks like it might be a little washed out, but you got the inlay of which looks to be one of the dramatic battles in the Mortal Realms right there. And then you get into the very first page, which is broken down by, this allows you to keep track of your games, basically, and any notes that you might learn. Again, I'm not sure if it's coming through on the screen, so I'm going to keep it short, but it gives you places to put what you're playing, your general, your turn number, your victory points, keeping track of things like that, any event or anything like that, any pieces of war gear that you might have out there, so when you play an event or you play with your buddies, you can keep track of all that. And as you can imagine, the Warhammer 40K one has the same inset that the main rulebook or the BRB has. And in addition to all those things I said for the Age of Sigmar, it does have a spot for you to put your command points, your victory points all the way up to turn 7, opponent's victory points, the results, enemy warlords, your warlords, missions, events, dates, game numbers, and things like that. Again, 200 pages in here. These, I think, go for $25 if I am not mistaken, and they are, of course, available for at least a limited time right now. And last but certainly not least are the Rise of Pattern Ruins that we saw in the Moon base. These are $30, and they come with that sweet painted or colored plastic right here. It gives you an idea of what it can look like on your tabletop there for your mans. You're going to get 2 of each sprue, just like we saw with the Moon base. Now, these are the big chunky plastic that, as I like to call them, the China plastic. It's not going to have as much detail as your normal multi-part kits, but they're getting better. They're getting better. They're throwing more quality at it. It's not as dramatic as it was with, say, that first round of Age of Sigmar terrain. That stuff was, quite honestly, had a lot of room for improvement, and we will move on and not ever talk about that stuff again, hopefully. I like this. I like these pieces of terrain. They're nice, they're big, they're bulky. You know, when you put a current Terminator up to it, you can kind of tell how big these things really are. They're pre-assembled. All you have to do is maybe put some bases on them, or they will stand up on their own on the tabletop because they got that nice wide stance right there, which is cool, you know, for busting them out and just kind of setting up now and painting them up nice and easy. We know for Necromunda that they will have some terrain coming out in those terrain bulkhead sets and objective kits. Doorway arches, I think they were, stuff like that, will be $35. So, you know, kind of pick and choose where you want to go with these type kits, but this is always definitely a viable option. But I feel like you might want to wait a few weeks and see what the Necromunda stuff looks like.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.